Hello and welcome to the NFL Week 1 pregame show on JV Sports. I'm your host Jason Wills. To my right is Vincent Valente.
Hi.
And to my left from online video we have Pat himself. We've got a lot to talk about this week, going over all the exciting matchups as well as the Thursday night game. We're going to be giving you our picks, exciting things that's going on, important matchups, and some other things along the way. So first off, we're going to start off with the Thursday night football matchup, Bills versus Rams. Vincent and I did a quick pregame show before that.
We did
if
indeed.
You saw that. Now, Pat, what were your thoughts on the game?
From the beginning, it was domination. As soon as the second half began, it was over. Allen Robinson is washed. Jalen Ramsey led off. Supposedly is the best quarterback in the NFL, and we had Stephon Diggs have a field day.
You know, that's some great points. Honestly, from my point of view, the Bills could have put this one away within 20 minutes into the game, as some turnovers cost them some possessions, led to some Rams points where they could have scored. And Vincent, what are your last thoughts?
Yeah, there were a bunch of turnovers in that game for both sides, mostly the Rams. Matt Stafford did not play good at all. Kind of played good for me because I was playing against him in fantasy, but that's not the point. Yeah, he didn't play that good, and he just did not look good. Cooper Kupp did. Cooper Kupp looked really good. Yeah, I also had him in fantasy, so that was good. Once again, yes, that is about it.
The rest of their team is looking a little Super Bowl hungover, if you will. I'm sure McVay's.
I won't.
Okay, I'm sure McVay's gonna be able to get them turned around, and
Jason, to your point,
into the success.
the Bills could have put this game away in 20 minutes, just a little bit of rust.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure this Bills team, they're no joke. They're definitely
Not joking.
They're looking to be one of the best teams in the league this year with Josh Allen as well as the defense. So I'm excited to see how that goes. And now let's get into today's matchup. Starting off, we've got 6 games for you guys. Each of us pick 2 matchups.
6.
And we're going to start off with Vincent's first matchup, which is the Eagles versus the Lions. Vincent, take it away.
Yep. So today the Eagles are traveling to Detroit to face the Lions. Unlike the Packers, which I will talk about later, that's what I mean. Unlike the Packers and the Vikings, which I will talk about later, they they made a lot of moves. The Lions made some moves, not as much as the Eagles. If I could be here all day saying all the moves that the Eagles made. But they signed A.J. Brown and had some good draft picks. They got so many players in defense, got a couple of offensive additions. And the Lions drafted Aiden Hutchinson, 2nd overall. They drafted Jameson Williams, too, but he's going to be injured for the first couple of weeks. Not going to affect this game, but should be good when he comes back. They also signed DJ Chark. And that's really all of their free agency and draft stuff. But even though the Eagles are favored in this one, I still think the Lions could put up a fight. I am an Eagles fan, as you can see, and so is Jason. But, I still think that the Eagles are going to win. I don't exactly have a score prediction, but I think they can win. But I do not think it will be as much of a blowout as last year after that 44-6 whooping of Week 8. The Lions gotten so much better through offseason, just through improving its players and developing from that 44-6 game last year. And some of my keys to the game are going to be the A.J. Brown, obviously, the Eagles' new star wide receiver who they just traded for. They he's going to be able to free up Devontae Smith a lot, which I think. And Dallas Goedert's still there. Quez Watkins. There's going to be a lot of players who should be able to get open as long as Jalen Hurts plays well. We had a really good running game last year. Even though our running backs aren't that good, we have a lot of decent backs that can carry their load. And also the quarterbacks. I want to talk about the quarterbacks. Jared Goff, his team is not as good as Hurts is, but he still has a lot to prove this year. And Hurts this too. This could be Hurts' last chance, but I believe in him. I think it's like a 50-50 split between people around the NFL. Most Eagles fans believe him, except for Eagles edits. But yeah, and that's really all that I have to say about this game.
Yeah, I think a big point that a lot of football fans in general are looking for is this Eagles team. As you said, they had a ton of additions in the offseason. Defense especially, they really vamped up their team, got a ton of guys in the secondary as well as in the front seven. And a lot of the pressure now lies on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts. So I think what you're going with is it's all up to him on how he performs and how he does in the next couple weeks and throughout the season into even January or possibly February, depending on how things play out. Next, we're going to my first key of the game, another 1 o'clock, which is the Bengals versus the Steelers. And now the main focus of this game is going to be obviously on the Bengals coming off a Super Bowl loss just last year against the Los Angeles Rams. They've updated their offensive line. It was last year, they had the second worst protection rate at 75%, meaning only 25% of Joe Burrow's dropbacks, he had more than 3 seconds to hold on to the ball. So with that updated offensive line, Burrow, he had the best clean passing percentage in the NFL when he had a clean pocket last season. So with this updated offensive line, they're looking to have another great season, even go beyond what they did, possibly even win the Super Bowl. I know it's going to be hard with a contested AFC, whole conference even, and some good teams in the NFC as well, but this team is looking good. And now you can't forget to mention Jamar Chase. He was the offensive rookie of the year last year. He had one of the best seasons we've seen from a rookie season ever.
The best season.
Yeah, and a big reason for their success last year, as well as the rest of the receiving core with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Some stats for you. Jamar Chase put up 1,500 yards with 13 touchdowns. Higgins and Boyd combined put up 2K for 11 touchdowns. And all in all, that came to 3,374 yards for 24 touchdowns. Now moving on to the Steelers, they were able to get in the playoffs last year. Mike Tomlin led a team that was just not clicking. Ben Roethlisberger's last year didn't have that good of a season. They were able to make the playoffs into the wild card round with that 7 seed, which some fans don't like the idea of the 7 seed is because, Steelers got destroyed by the Chiefs and the Eagles lost by 3 scores to the Bucks. So, but that's a different topic. This Steelers team, they're different. They've got questions at the QB position. I mean, sure, Ben Roethlisberger wasn't good, but he was still a stable guy to have. You were sure he was going to go out there and start every game, but now we don't know. You got Trubisky, you got Pickett, even Mason Rudolph. For if something happens, something could go very wrong. And I know Trubisky's starting today, but I'm not sure how long that's going to stay. As he hasn't played more than 10 games since 2019, and having Kenny Pickett there is good, but he's a rookie. We don't know how he's going to perform. There's some questions. His hands were measured at very small compared to a lot of the other NFL quarterbacks. Could be a concern with his ability to throw. So we'll see how that all plays out. And to be honest, I'm not sure the Steelers even have a chance today. If they do, it's going to have to come from Najee Harris, T.J. Watt having great games, George Pickens making a good performance, Chase Claypool helping out.
Top 3 wide receiver.
He claims he's a top 3 wide receiver.
He may not even be that on his team.
And now, Pat, we're going to transition to your first.
Can I say something about the Bengals real quick?
Sure.
Everybody thinks that they may not be able to make the playoffs and definitely not get past the first round, but what changed? They upgraded their offensive line, and absolutely nothing has changed besides their upgrades. Mm-hmm. And people think they're going to get worse because they were just a one-year wonder. But no, they're going to get better, and I have them going back. I forget if I had them to the AFC Championship or at least the divisional round. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to be good.
Pat, if you have something to say, you can go after me. I was just going to say, I think the reason for that is the Baltimore Ravens. Last year, they were 8-3. They ended up falling. Lamar Jackson was hurt, and they missed the playoffs. I think they went 9-8, 8-9.
It was not a good season for them.
It was not a good season. They were hurt. They were depleted. So a big reason for that. And sure, Lamar Jackson doesn't have as many. He doesn't have Hollywood Brown anymore. His main target's gonna be Mark Andrews now, which is I could compare that to Travis Kelce on the Chiefs and with Mahomes. So. And both those teams, they're being, I feel like you could say, underappreciated with those quarterbacks. They're great. Mahomes as well as Lamar Jackson, they're great players. So it's not that the Bengals are going to be bad. It's that the Ravens could be back to their 2019 form, 2020 form. Like, people expect them to perform well. All right. So now, Pat, we're going to transition to your first key matchup of the week. Go ahead.
All right, so I have the Chargers versus Raiders, and I have a lot of keys to this game with a new duo formed in Carr and Adams, and they have a lot of chemistry from college. And Adams looks to get as many looks from the new quarterback, but he's no Aaron Rodgers. And Herb looks to continue developing. Eckler is going to be 100%, and they have a lot of key factors on the defense, and Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson, who is arguably one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. This will be a good matchup between Adam and Jackson. How will Jackson perform against arguably the best route runner in the NFL? And Carr will have a lot of problems from Bosa and Khalil Mack, which could lead to a lot of turnovers from either Derwin James or J.C. Jackson.
Yeah. They definitely, the Chargers, we talked about the Bills already. We talked about the Bengals. I know I mentioned the Ravens and the Chiefs. Chargers are another team that are looking really good. And, Herbert, he's been great the past 2 seasons, so he's probably looking to have another good year, another great year. He was top 5 in passing yards last year, and he won Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2020. So this kid's good as well. So, and this like the game you're talking about, Chargers Raiders, it's looking to be one of the most exciting matchups. The entire AFC West
So stacked.
is looking so stacked. All the teams except the Chiefs. Even the Chiefs, they got Juju Smith-Schuster, MVS, Justin Reed, but those were to fill holes. The Raiders, Broncos, and Chargers, they just added on to teams that were already pretty good. The Raiders made the playoffs. The Chargers could have made the playoffs if a tie had happened. I know a lot of you saw that happen. So definitely an exciting division to look out for this season. Now we're going to transition to the next game. Thank you for that, Pat. And it's going to be Vincent's second game, which is going to be the Vikings and Packers. Now take it away.
Yep. Today, the Packers go to Minnesota to face the Minnesota Vikings. These two teams are the two teams who I think, maybe the Lions, definitely not the Bears, but only two teams that should have a chance at winning that division. Should be a good way. Should be a good battle through the whole way through the season. But both these teams had fairly quiet off seasons, or at least like gaining players. Obviously, as we said, Devontae Adams on the Raiders. But so they let go of Devontae Adams in a trade. They the Vikings did draft Andrew Booth and who was the other player? Andrew Booth and Lewis Cine. How do you say that?
Cine.
Yeah, Lewis Cine.
Out of Georgia.
Yep. So they upgraded their defense a little bit, and the Packers also did pretty good in the draft. They
two Georgia players.
Yeah, they also drafted not two Georgia players. One was Clemson, one was Georgia. But yeah, a lot of Georgia players got drafted this year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they got a D tackle and a linebacker. And some of my keys to the game is going to be the Vikings. I don't think have that great of a D line. They have a good D line, but I don't think it's that great. And how good the O line of the Packers is, I just think that they have one of the best O lines with John Runyon, David McCarty, one of the best tackles in the league. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have time in the pocket. I think he's going to find Sammy Watkins a lot. He's going to have a big day. And I think the running is going to be really good with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, two great running backs, the two-headed monster. They're gonna be great and have a really good game today. And one of my key matchups is Justin Jefferson versus the lockdown corner of Jair Alexander. Jair Alexander has been so good. He was injured for a little bit last year, but he was so good. Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in the league, not even a rising star. He's already a star, but he's young. He's been improving every season, and he's just been so good, and that should be a really good matchup. And, yeah, that's all that I have for that game. Oh, my predictions of Vikings, by the way. I didn't say that before.
To add on to that, Dalvin Cook versus Aaron Jones, which running back will have a better game. That will be a key.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Those two guys are exciting, and NFC North, they got some good running backs, include those two
DeAndre
guys.
Swift.
DeAndre Swift.
David Montgomery's
David
not horrible.
Yeah. He's on a Bears team that just hasn't really got
Awful.
figured out. That probably no one's really expecting them to do much this season as well.
By much, I mean like win a game.
Now next, oh sorry Pat, you can go.
I'm looking to see Justin Fields really take a next step. I think he will be a superstar,
Well,
but not on the Bears team.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, he was great at Ohio State, and just last year coaching concerns and stuff.
Or at least that current Bears team. If they could make a lot of upgrades, he could be
definitely.
good, but not just with those.
Of good picks in the drafts the next 2 years, we could see him perform really well.
Yeah.
Another guy that's similar. There's a lot of guys that are looking to have good seasons this year. I mean Trey Lance, Justin Fields, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Trey Lance going up against the Bears, by the way.
Yeah, that's a good game for you guys to watch at home, listening in. Yeah, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. I mean, I talked about Jalen Hurts. Tua is a guy that's looking to have there's a lot of QBs that
have a lot to prove.
Definitely, especially with good QBs coming up, probably in the draft. Bryce Young, CJ
this
Stroud.
is gonna be a much better.
Jones got to really step up.
Yeah, Daniel Jones too, definitely,
because not stepping.
It's definitely. It could be his last year.
It is his last year
with a bad Giants season. This is very
He's so
Daniel
bad.
Jones hating.
I
Now
think
we're
Pat
gonna
is too.
transition to my next exciting matchup, which is the Chiefs versus the Cardinals. They look to have another good start to the year. They went 8-0 last year. Big reason for that, DeAndre Hopkins. And last year he missed 7 games.
Yep.
Cardinals went 9-1 with Hopkins on the field. Unfortunately for them, Hopkins was suspended for 6 games, so Zach Ertz and AJ Green are going to be the main passing targets for Kyler Murray today and up until Hopkins comes back. And now, for the Chiefs, it's Mahomes versus his former coach at Texas Tech. So that's something to look at. Cliff Kingsbury has faced him. He knows how Mahomes works. He's seen him. And, I mean, Mahomes has been in the NFL for 4 seasons now. 5 seasons, I think. 5. This is his 5th season as a start, and he's been for 6 seasons. So, Kingsbury's got a lot of film to look at. Now, for the offseason for the Chiefs, they lost Tyreek Hill. They lost the Honey Badger. Those are some guys that were really good, that were key players in their past couple years in the Super Bowl season, in the season they lost to the Bucs last year in the playoffs. Without Tyreek Hill, they lose to the Bills because he had that big play coming across the field, caught it, went up the sideline, threw up the peace signs, and gave the Chiefs the lead late in the game. But they were able to get Juju Smith-Schuster, MVS, as well as Justin Reed. I did mention them earlier in the show to fill those holes. But in my opinion, it's unlikely that those guys are going to be able to play up to the standard that the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, and Tyreek Hill set up in Kansas City. So there's questions there. I know I mentioned that, Travis Kelce's still there. Mahomes, he's good. Talked about that earlier. And, yeah, that's all I have to say. Now, lastly, for our final exciting matchup of the week, we got Sunday Night Football. Pat, take us away with the Bucs versus Cowboys.
Well, Tom Brady has been missing training and practice. He missed 11 days with off-field conflicts with his wife. Mike Evans and Trayvon Diggs, that will be an exciting matchup to watch. Trayvon Diggs is not very good in the zone and man, but he is a person that will get picked. Cowboys also lost a lot of pieces in their D-line, so a weaker Cowboys D-line versus a weaker Bucs O-line due to injuries. Bucs also added Julio Jones, which is, they have arguably the best wide receiver core in the NFL with Godwin, Evans, and Jones. They did lose Gronk, which is big for Brady, which is, he's played with them for most of his career.
All of his career.
Will have to play on their A game, and Dak and Elliott will have to have really good games to beat this talented Bucs team. And I think that
Yeah, like what you said about the receiving core. I mean, Julio Jones was one of the best alongside Antonio Brown for a long time.
Yeah.
So with Tom Brady now, like these guys,
He
like
lost one, gained another.
Brady's, yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
Brady's looking for another Super Bowl, and I know there's some rumors that, I mean, obviously there's the retirement after the season ended last year. He came back, but this could be his last year, so he wants to go out on top. You know, this guy, he's best player we've ever seen. He's won 7 Super Bowls, like an 8th. It's gonna be hard for even franchises to catch up with that, considering one of those top teams is the Steelers, and like we mentioned earlier, they're not that good right now. So that's definitely some exciting things to look forward to this season. We got a lot. We mentioned a lot, really. Chargers, Bills. There's a ton of teams. So it's all shaping up to be a really exciting NFL season. Now we're in transition to another topic. Little something fun for you guys. Possible upset as well as closest game. You know, we're going to give everyone about 30 seconds to pick that up. You know, there's some exciting matchups throughout the league this week, so
I
get
already know
those
what
ready.
upsets, I think.
All right, well, Vincent, if you're ready, please take the stage.
I could kind of see Falcons Saints. I still see the Saints winning, but I just have a weird feeling about the Falcons. The Falcons aren't going to be that good of a team, but I have a weird feeling that they could win today. They're at home. I don't know why, but it's just something about it. I don't know why it gave me that weird feeling, but yeah, I think that is a big upset, and I could see us losing to the Lions, but I'm not overlooking them because I still think that they could be good this year, but I just don't. I could see it, but it's not likely. But yeah.
And then do you have closest
The closest
game?
Probably Raiders, Chargers, or Bucks, Cowboys. Those are gonna be really close games. Oh, another upset that I could. It's kind of an upset. I could see Jaguars beating the Commanders, but that maybe that could be a close game too. And Browns, Panthers could be kind of a close game.
All right, Pat, do you have yours?
Yeah, so for my closest game, I have the Patriots and the Dolphins.
Oh, I forgot
Dolphins
that
team
game.
is looking like a whole new offense, and the Patriots team didn't really make any big moves on their offensive side. The upset game, I am a Giants fan, but I could see the Giants upsetting the Titans. The Titans are Derrick Henry's coming off an injury. Tannehill doesn't impress me, and their wide receiver core is really, really, really weak.
And the Giants have a great wide receiver core and a
Yep.
great quarterback, and their running back has never been injured.
Well, when I was scrolling up and down the games, I saw that Giants Titans game, and well, immediately that looks an appealing game to say there could be an upset, but I have concerns about Daniel Jones, about that offense. You know, Saquon, he's good, but there's a lot of pressure on him to perform,
Yeah.
and he's struggled with injuries the past few seasons. You know, he had a great year in his rookie season, but he's just struggled, and with the Giants, he's the main part of their offense. You see the same thing with Christian McCaffrey. When you're like just forcing that running back to use like their legs and constantly be like tackled and hit, there's going to you could see them get burnt out. Like we saw with Derrick Henry last year. You know, he got hurt mid-season, so there's definitely some concerns there. Sorry to cut you off, by the way, Pat. You can continue with.
Well, one thing I have to say about that is the one thing I did not like about the last coaching with the Giants is they used Saquon more as a blocker, and they weren't giving him touches like they should. And what you said with that breakout season, I mean, they were calling him the next Barry Sanders. But when you have no offensive line protecting him at all, he is going to be prone to injuries. And I'm excited to see him this year.
And you guys, the Giants took Evan Neal early on in the draft, so that left side should be strengthened up. Now, Pat, do you want to go ahead with your closest game? Oh.
I had the Patriots and Dolphins.
Oh, right. Sorry. You said that first.
Yeah.
Sorry. You went the other order. My bad. Okay, so now for me, I'm going to go up starting off. You know, first, we're going to go with the closest game for today. And to be honest, I'm going to say Chiefs Cardinals.
I don't see that.
An appealing option that Vincent gave was Chargers Raiders, and that's a good game, but I see one team just getting the advantage over the other, like offensively, just quarterback outplaying the other one, which could lead to like a 2-score lead going into like the fourth. So that's why. And with Chiefs Cardinals, both the teams they've lost some pieces offensively, so that could lead to some like worst QB play. It's week 1, everyone's still getting the rust off. So I'm taking that game as my close game. I still think Chiefs win that game, probably. And now for an upset, you know what? Let's take. That seems like a fun one to do. I think I'm gonna go Texans over the Colts, which is, why not, right?
That's
It's an upset.
That's a really
You're
bold.
taking an exciting game.
It's
Texans are at home. Davis Mills was pretty good last year. I mean, he wasn't that good. He didn't play every game. He didn't start every game. He was a rookie that got drafted late. Like, he wasn't expected to do anything, and
he did a decent amount. That's
he did
true.
pretty good. And I know, and like, look, the Colts they're expected to win. At least I have them winning the South, but
So
that
do I.
doesn't mean that they're not going to lose games that they should win. Every football team's going to lose a game they should win and win a game they should have lost. That's just how
Week
it goes.
1 is just
And it's like Vincent
bold.
just said
That's
again.
very bold.
I mean, look, Matt Ryan's entering a new system. We'll see how things play out.
One person I'm excited to watch in that game is Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
See if he can really step up to the wide receiver 1. And besides that, that's pretty much it.
Now, lastly, I know a few of us have said our picks for a couple games, but now we're going to go through game by game for you guys, talking about our picks. First game is going to be Bengals versus Steelers. Pat, I'll let you go first, and we'll go Pat, Vincent, and then me.
I think the Bengals are going to win by a landslide. This Steelers offense have no quarterback. I think Kenny Pickett should be that starting quarterback. And the fact that he's quarterback 3 for this team is absurd. Najee Harris, he'll have to do a lot of work today. And the wide receivers could have a good day because Bengals secondary is pretty weak besides Jesse Bates, in my opinion. But that's my pick for the game.
Now, Vincent, you go.
I agree completely with Pat. Bengals should win by a blowout, and all the stuff that he said about the quarterbacks, receivers, I agree completely. Yeah, that's exactly what he said, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the same. I talked about it in one of my exciting matchups. If the Steelers are want a chance, it's going to have to rest on Najee Harris, as well as TJ Watt's going to have to have some big play,
He
big
always does.
strip sack or something on Burrow or Joe Mixon maybe on a running play that leads to a crucial change in the tide there. Now, next game, Pat, Eagles versus the Lions.
I am going to take the Eagles. I think
Eagles.
Kirk is going to take a big jump this year, and I don't think Miles Sanders should be in that offense anymore. I just don't
I
think
could see
he
that.
is a good running back. I'm excited to see A.J. Brown in an Eagles uniform, and Devontae Smith should just keep getting better. So I think we'll go with the Eagles.
Vincent?
Yeah, I also have the Eagles. I'm excited to see A.J. Brown, obviously. Devontae Smith, like I said earlier, will be getting better, especially with the addition of A.J. Brown taking pressure off him. Dallas Goedert's going to play great like he always has been. Miles Sanders could play decent. I don't think he's going to play that good. We have a lot of other backs, and Jalen Hurts could run too. Our defense is looking great, and yeah, I see us winning. But I could see the Lions making it a close game or possibly upsetting, but I don't know. I'm just not overlooking it, especially week 1.
I definitely agree with what both of you said. I'm looking for Hurts to have a great season. The weapons are there, and the defense is a lot stronger than it was last year. So, like I said, a lot of pressure on him, but he's got the mentality to perform. It all just comes down to the talent. Now we're gonna go rapid fire with the next 3 games here. We got Saints Falcons, Browns Panthers, and Bears Niners. Pat, go all 3 at once.
I have the Panthers winning. I have the Niners winning, and what was the other game?
Saints Falcons.
And I do think the Saints will win this game. I actually do think Jameis Winston is a very solid quarterback.
So sorry about
I
that.
like this also. I really like.
Sorry, Pat, you froze
Yeah,
for
you
a
froze for a
second,
second.
but continue.
So I
Bro.
think the Saints will take away that game, and I do think the 49ers will beat the Bears, but I do think Justin Fields will have a really good game, and I do think the Panthers will run over the Browns.
Now, Vincent, you go with those 3 games.
Like I said earlier, I could see the Falcons upsetting the Saints, but probably not. It's the Saints win. It could be pretty close. Browns Panthers could also be close, but I also see the Panthers, like Pat said, kind of like just blowing them out. But it could be close. I see Panthers winning at 100%. 49ers Bears, not even question. 49ers. I mean, maybe Trey Lance and he doesn't play in the weather that well because he hasn't really played in the weather much. But it's the Chicago Bears, so yeah. What about you, Jason?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Saints. Pat made some good points with Jameis. You know, they were really good before. They were like looking to even contest for the NFC South before his injury in week 7, I believe. So I'm taking Saints there. You know, they get Michael Thomas back. He hasn't played in season plus, so exciting to see his return. You know, you got Kamara, you got Mark Ingram like on the team again. So I'm taking the Saints there. Next, I'm gonna go take the Niners over the Bears, kind of going in a different order than you guys, but definitely the Niners over the Bears. Trey Lance is looking to have a good year. You know, they got good defensive pieces with Bosa, with Fred Warner. So it's gonna be looking good. And then offensively, you know, you got Debo, you got Ayuk, you got Elijah Mitchell. And lastly, I'm gonna take the Browns because I believe that, Nick Chubb, I'm looking to see him have a really good year. He hasn't really played a full season. There's always a game or two where he's hurt. So if he has a full good year, like, he could lead this team to a couple wins before Watson gets back. I'm not expecting the Browns to do much, but I'm still looking for Nick Chubb to have a good year. Now we're going to go another set of rapid fire for this time. Colts, Texans, Patriots, Dolphins, Ravens, Jets, and Jags, Commanders. Pat, you want to go first?
So I have the Patriots losing to the Dolphins. I think this Dolphins team is actually going to make the playoffs this year and probably finish second in the AFC East.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills are obviously going to win it, but I think the Dolphins are going to be a solid team. The Commanders are going to beat the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars have a bright future, but right now I just don't think they have a match for the Commanders. And what's the other game?
Ravens, Jets, and
Colts,
Texans.
Ravens are going to kill the Jets. I mean, I like what the Jets are moving in the right direction.
They don't even have Zach Wilson
is
today,
out
yeah.
week 1.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's Joe Flacco starting.
And I think the Colts will
Revenge
run over the
game.
Yep.
Jets. I am excited to see the Davis Mills and see how he progresses this year.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you want to go next?
Yeah, this has been a long video, so I'm gonna do this quickly. Colts over Texans, Dolphins over Patriots, Ravens over Jets, and I could see the Jaguars beat the Commanders, but I still have the Commanders coming out on top. And yeah, you, Jason.
All right, so I'll go next. Dolphins beat the Patriots. Ravens are going to beat the Jets. Jaguars over the Commanders. And while I did say I could see the Texans upsetting, note the word. I said possible upset. I'm still taking the Colts in this game. Jonathan Taylor's going to have a good year again. Now we're in a speed run. The 4:25 games Eastern time. Chiefs, Cardinals, Packers, Vikings, Giants, Titans, Chargers, Raiders. Pat, go first.
I think he is frozen.
Okay, well, Pat recon.
I
Oh,
have the Chargers. What?
sorry, you
No,
froze
never
again.
mind,
You
you froze.
you
You're
continue.
fine, you're fine,
Continue.
I didn't hear any of the games you said.
Okay, so
Chargers, Raiders.
Yeah,
Chargers, Raiders, Giants, Titans, Packers,
Packers,
Vikings, Chiefs, Cardinals.
Okay, so I do have the Chargers beating the Raiders by 14 points, 2 touchdowns. I think the Chargers offense is only getting better, and the Chargers defense is probably top 5 in the league. The Raiders will be good, but I also have the Vikings beating the Packers. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers has any weapons around him. I do have the Chiefs beating the Cardinals. There's not much to the Cardinals offense.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the Giants upsetting the Titans. I just think that game will be an upset.
Mm-hmm. All right, Vince, you go next.
Chiefs over Cardinals could be close, but I think the Chiefs are just a better team. Vikings Packers could be really, really close. I don't know why I didn't mention that in my closest games, but yeah, they could. That game's gonna be close. Vikings I think will win. Titans should beat the Giants. Maybe not as much of a blowout as people think, because I don't think the Titans should be that good, but I still think they win. And then I have the Raiders beating the Chargers. I love the Raiders. I love Devontae Adams. Derek Carr, Devontae Adams are going to be great. They're going to be one of the best duos in the NFL. And Hunter Henry and Darren Waller, they're just such a good offense. Their defense is
Hunter
decent.
Renfro.
That's what I meant.
All right, lastly, I'm going to go. I think Chiefs beat the Cardinals. You know, Pat mentioned it. Cardinals, they don't have much offense. They got Zach Ertz and AJ Green as their main guys. I am wearing a Zach Ertz jersey right now. But, I mean, those guys, they're just old. They're banged up. They're not as good as they used to be. So, Kyler Murray doesn't have much besides himself and James Conner to work with. Next, Packers-Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings in a one-score upset. 7 or by 3, I'm not sure. But we'll see how that plays out. Titans beat the Giants by at least 2 scores. I just have concerns about their team, like I said earlier. And lastly, Chargers-Raiders, my most exciting game. I'm taking the Chargers by 7. Lastly, we've got the 2 primetime games. The game Pat talked about, Bucks-Cowboys earlier, and then Monday Night Football on ESPN, Broncos vs. Seahawks. Russ makes his return. Pat, go first.
I think the Bucks will win by a pretty big margin, possibly by 3 touchdowns. I just don't think the Cowboys can contend with this really talented Bucks team. And I do have Broncos dominating the Seahawks.
Yeah.
The Seahawks have been the most sad quarterback competition. And
Definitely.
I don't see any positives to the Seahawks team besides DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett.
All right,
Should I go next?
Vincent, you can go next.
I have the Bucks over the Cowboys. I could see the Cowboys winning. I don't think it's gonna be as much as the blowout as Pat says, but I still see the Bucks winning. I do think the Broncos Seahawks are gonna have a big blowout. It's gonna be nice to see Russell Wilson play against the Seahawks, but yeah, the Seahawks are looking like the Bears and the Seahawks and maybe the Falcons are gonna be 3 really bad teams, and I don't see any of them winning today. And I think the Seahawks are gonna get blown out a lot. So yeah.
All right, so lastly, to finish off, I'm going to have the Bucs beating Dallas by 10 points, I would say. And then Broncos Seahawks, I don't think it's going to be as big of a blowout and a domination by Denver as you think. I'm still taking Denver by 10, and actually I'm going to switch Bucs winning by 14. But yeah, back to the Denver Seahawks game. I think Denver only wins by 10. It's just a new system. There's not everyone's going to be connecting. Like even the Rams on Thursday night, we talked about it at the very start of the show. You know, they won the Super Bowl together, yet they're not. They don't seem to be all working together just because they lost a couple players, and you know. So I could see just like the start of a new season, there's definitely, you could see like issues in chemistry. You know, these guys, they haven't been together for a whole season at this point, obviously, because it's week 1.
Yeah.
So things could happen. So yeah, those are our picks for this week. That will wrap up our pregame show for the NFL week 1, as well as just the start of the season. It was a great show. Thank you all for listening. We do apologize for a couple glitches on connectivity issues between us and Pat. No, he's there.
Is he? Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, we do apologize for that. We're sure to get that sorted out in the next couple weeks, so be sure to tune in then. Thank you all for listening here on JV Sports. Yet again, I'm Jason Wills. This is Vincent Valente and Pat joining us, of course, online. Thank you all for listening, and we will all see you next week. Goodbye.